Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Lab.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So it's Thursday, and we're at, what time is it? 4:35. So we've already had Amazon and Google come out. Google beat on the top line, I think $9 or so versus $8.65, and a little beat on revenue. Tried to go through $8.40, couldn't really get through it. It's hovering around $8.25. No real power there. I don't think it was enough. To break above $8.40, stay above it, and go. And Amazon missed by a lot. They missed on the top line. The revenues were, were closer versus the top line, but that stock dropped 50, 60 points. So a lot of guys on Twitter are like, hey, good job, good call. You got out of your calls at 2 o'clock, and thanks for the transparency, which I appreciate. But if it was up 50 points each, I would have been like, or actually that's why I'm out, because they needed to go up 50 points just to break even. And in this market that seemed a little wishy-washy, where a lot of divergence is happening, felt like more weakness underneath the surface and strength, I'm like, what, I'm not going to, waste a premium because I'm going to miss a move. I could trade it after hours, and I just, don't need to make 50 points in a stock before getting even. Just, it didn't feel right, especially considering we had Tesla today, and if you blinked, you didn't sell. Like I talked about having Tesla calls for earnings, and, the premium was like $7. It was at wherever it was like a 212, and they were up to 13. I sold some, and then I waited to see if it would hold, 209.50, 212.50. Couldn't. Once it broke the gap, I was out. So, P.S. those things will probably be a lot lower tomorrow. So I was like, if they can't hold Tesla up, that really had a huge beat and huge revenue, big short interest, chances are, it's going to be hard for other things. So anyway, that's why I got out of the Google and Amazon pre. So those will probably be zeros. We actually had some good trades after hours. Some of us bought Amazon in the hole around 746, 747, and made a quick 10, $20, and now it's up a little bit. So there's more than things to do than, if you're not thinking that the gods are in your favor, to take excessive risk for a little bit of a coin toss. So anyway, here's a chart of the S&P cash. Definitely vulnerable. I drew these ascending channels. I think yesterday broke to the downside. Ascending channel broke to the downside. Still above, this old resistance that has been support, and now you have another ascending little channel here that maybe with, Amazon down 40 points and some things down, maybe we get a retest of this area tomorrow. Overall things have been hanging around, but again, still below the 8-day, the 21-day, the 50-day, still vulnerable. That's why I have no equity positions on. I had a lot of options on it, and you'll see by the disclosures tomorrow, which I did talk about on the VTF. I get out of a lot of stuff today just because even option premium, doesn't make sense to lose on if you're not, seeing things the way they should go for your trade to work out. So anyway, we'll see what happens tomorrow. In tomorrow's note, the way, I would usually write it, I would say, S&P futures closed on the lows of the day, above 2130, okay, depending on where we open. If we're down 7 handles, I'll say, S&P futures down 7 handles. Let's see if we can get back above 2130. If we can't, then you have a big area between 2114 and 2119. If 2114, 2119 doesn't hold, you know what? Then we could revisit the 2100, which is now the 200-day. So the first thing that happens is you have to break below this and hold below this. Last time we broke below an ascending channel, had a little downside follow-through, and then a red dog reversal. This time, you had downside follow-through before working its way up to this trend line, which has been resistance. So we'll see what happens here tomorrow. Again, I talked about Tesla. My rule, everyone has rules. My rule when I take options, especially on a big move in the morning, is I always sell half in the first, few minutes to lock in whatever the opening price is, and then I see what the action's like. And if you look at Tesla, okay, first of all, it's a big, ugly candle now. Got rejected right into resistance that we talked about. I said if it wants to go, there's a little bit of a playground between, 206 and 213. That's where it went to. But if you look at the 5-minute chart, it tells more of a different story. Okay, it opened up. Okay, actually, after I sold half my options, I actually got long the stock in here. And then on this wide range bar, I got out. And then on this, I got flat, and that's when I got out of the options. Done. Okay, this gap should never have been filled if it was going to have strong momentum and continue to the upside. So what happened? It got filled, and now it's a whole lot of nothing. So that's how you judge momentum moves. Not a Netflix. Netflix gapped up. Okay, remember the Netflix gap up? Okay, go back to the daily chart just to show you the differences. Here was your gap up, okay, held the gap, and then took out the prior day's high and had a nice move. Now we'll see what happens here. It's getting a little wishy-washy up here. I'm not in any Netflix, but we'll see if it gets hit with some high beta tomorrow. But anyway, different, okay, different scenario. Didn't come in and fill the gap, kept the shorts trapped, and then continued higher. Tesla filled the gap. Now it has a big wide range bar, so no momentum there, and it's going to, probably be a no trade again for a while. They didn't believe what Musk had to say, I guess. Then let's go into Google and Amazon. Google, not sure where it's trading now. Let me see where it's trading now after hours. I'll take a quick little look while you guys are sitting here. It's 441. 441, starting to have a little fun, or not. Anyway, let's see where Google's trading right now at 441. Google is 827.96. So it is up, okay? But not much of a good after hours trade unless, I don't know, if you bought the dip and, this is your pivot. It got up here and wasn't enough to get above this at all-time highs. Okay, here it's back into support. If we the 840s that I had on were $11. That means I need 851 by tomorrow to make money. So I'm happy at 827. It's still up $10, but the options are probably going to be worthless. And then those of you who took the dollar on a dream at 850s, 860s, it was definitely worthless. So anyway, here at 827, what's this? This is 827 right here. Okay, it's right smack in the middle of this, so we're going to be back to home on the range. This might be a chosen one if they choose to keep some in the game because, again, the headline reads it beats on top line, beats on revenues, and still has a lot of different businesses being launched. So this is not going to fall apart. This will stay in the game plan. It just wasn't ready to take this out and be prime time. Okay, so we'll see what happens here. Amazon, different story, missed on headline, and revenues were intact, and look at the size of the move that it's had. All right, so it's good to be prepared. So the reason why a few of us bought this thing here was because look at this big 70-50 support. So at 750, I saw it at 746. I'm like, let me buy some. So I bought a little bit. VTF saw it. If you guys bought at 746, I think I made 10 points on it or so. I should have probably, pressed the buy button for more versus a sell button, but I was just happy to make, 10 to 12 points in less than 30 seconds. Anyway, so now it's up a little bit. I would say this is probably going to be resistance now. I don't think it gets up to 803, but who knows? And then here is your 50-day at 799. So we'll see, what kind of gap we have tomorrow. If I look here at Amazon now, at what time is it? It is 4:43. I'm almost going to make a guess that it is 783. Let's see if I'm right. Okay, going to Amazon and. Yeah, I'm on my phone here looking at I probably can get after hours trading, but I'm just brain dead right now. So Amazon is trading 784. Not so bad. So go back to the chart. It's trading, right around here. Okay, so came off the lows, so there was a good extreme to buy, and now it's, not even and not, just it's not. This is kind of noisy now, right? 785. It's about $40 off the reactionary low and not quite, and still down 35. So I just don't think you could be fading this, even though, that would be my first, instinct now to be short versus the 800. That there's no reason why it should fill the gap and be so chosen that that it can just go to the upside. Looking at that report, the report wasn't great. Okay, this is going to be probably resistance for a while now. So we'll see, what happens tomorrow. But at 785, it's noisy, very noisy. Here, yes, rubber band stretched. Here, you could try and short it and it might go up a little bit more, or you could just wait till tomorrow, which is what I'm going to do. Facebook also came in a lot. Its numbers are, I think, November 2nd, and this created a pivot, kind of like what's it called? Google did, but for composure-wise, this should never have happened. So, if earnings already happened, I'd be like, oh, you got to be very careful, with Facebook. You had a breakout failure real quick, so that's distribution. That's not accumulation. So now we'll see what happens tomorrow. It'll probably be up a little bit because it follows Google, and Google is the one that's up a little bit after hours. But I wouldn't expect it to go, up big. BABA, I did also, on the VTF, you saw me get rid of, on this move lower, I bought the 105s and 110s for earnings and for singles day. And the way the action's been, I actually sold the 110s this morning when it was up $1. So I got out flat. I was like, it's not really worth it for the 110s for new highs in the year. Things just don't look that way. and I also sold some of the 105s, and I have small left. So what's good about the new VTF is you can see sells and buys, and you will see if you go over BABA on my VTF, the BABA options, you'll see sells in the first 10 minutes and then first half hour, which is when the stock was up. Now we'll see if this holds this 50-day or, discounts even more. In the morning call, I talked about the potential of this, little head and shoulders pattern, which I didn't like, which to me was saying, we could see it move it back down to here-ish if it wanted to. But we'll see. I don't know what Baidu's doing after hours, and might, I wanted to hang in there. I don't want it to break down. I just, again, took down a lot of risk today. I even sold my Citigroup calls. I came in long Citigroup. Citigroup had a nice move, sold into some strength, bought the calls in here, and now you have a small topping tail. Why did I sell Citigroup? Because it was the last one to break out, and all my other ones hit the targets. Goldman Sachs in the morning call, I talked about it filling a gap up to here, okay, and then, being done with it, and basically that's about where it went, okay? So I'm looking at the move that it had. This was your pivot buy, and now the void is filled. So good spot to sell some. Bank of America also. Entries and exits matter. Now you have a small little topping tail up here. What did it do? It filled the gap. That's where we talked about in the note where it could go, and that's where it went. And your time to buy it wasn't today. It was when it cleared this pivot here, or when it broke this descending channel there. Now topping tail extended from the 8 and 21 day. That's your day to sell, not to buy. There's little things, little technical things to keep you maneuvering, to keep you, on the right side of the tape versus the wrong side of the tape. Oil had a bounce today. Whatever. Actually tried to bounce. Yeah, bounced today back over the 200 day. Not a whole lot to talk about here in oil, except for it's hanging around. This is when it cleared the descending channel, broke below this resistance, this support that we were talking about, and now it's back here. Still it's not a headwind or a tailwind. It's just kind of neutral now. We'll see what happens. Needs some time. Gold. What did you do today? Hanging in there. Such a pain in the butt. Erratic. Day to day. Red, green, red, nothing. So above this, maybe it perks up a little bit. What did the GDX do? It looked like GDX was down while gold was up, which is also a little weird usually. Okay, there it is, down a little bit. This was your lower level trade, 3-day rule, and now it's just dribbling lower. I guess, you could trade versus slow, but I wouldn't be long this thing overnight for a guess. It's nothing telling you to be that. Some of you guys are like, oh my God, every bear's been saying buy the TLTs. What happened? Okay, well, what happened was, okay, if you look technically, when you're below the 8 and 21 day, what does Red Dog say? It says sell. What happened here? It broke below the 8 and 21 day after losing the 50 day. So that was your sell. Came in, danced around with the 200 day, and then boom. Okay, it's a little bit off the lows, so maybe it tries to fill this gap or so. It's very extended from the 8 and 21 day and the 50 day, so you don't want to be short into that, but doesn't mean it's a swing buy. It's just a tactical trade, but no one should have been sitting in this thing when it broke here. Remember when it broke here? You then actually had a chance to resell it if you got caught on this bounce back up. So anyway, this is where you are. Probably up a little bit tomorrow, we'll see. And that's it, It's not an easy market, so you don't want to just throw things against the wall, and that's what I felt like it was. But I'm the feeling today, in Google and Amazon, I think I'm just throwing something against the wall that's costing me $11 in premium, and I'm going to need all-time highs in both and then some just to break even. I'm like, screw it. I'm out. I'll trade it after hours, and there was some decent trades after hours. The reason I was thinking that is because you saw the action in Tesla, saw the action in some other things, and just seems like there's no momentum and there's no buy, sell higher, except for Netflix, which was a one-off because of the short interest and the potential of a buyout. Nobody wants to be short that thing. But anyway, so, here we are. Let's see what Apple did today. Apple, inside day. I couldn't really get in the gap and stay in the gap, so there was nothing to do. I don't think I traded Apple once today. And we'll see how long it stays in this lower range before coming lower to the 50-day or maybe getting into the gap. But when they said their earbuds or whatever they call them wasn't ready, it sort of took a little momentum out and then boom. So we'll see how much longer it stays in that range. And Twitter, not great action. It was up for a while. It feels like glass is always half empty with Twitter versus half full. I have calls. I didn't have the calls for earnings. I had them in case earnings were good. I really have them for December-ish and mid-November in case something happens deal-wise. And we shall see at this point. Sitting in the stock I don't think is a good idea because this could be a bear flag for continuation to the downside. and you don't want to be sitting in stock. If you're in options, I've been in options since here, for mid-November and mid-December. If there's going to be a deal, it could happen in that time frame, and could be close to 21, 22. So that would be good. If you're in the options, you're not worried about trading the stock. I didn't really trade the stock. I don't even think I traded the stock once today because I was like, okay, unless it could hold 18 and get really some volume above 1830 and fill the gap, I'm not interested. So now if it happens to break down and gets down to this area in the next few weeks, then I'll probably buy some more Decembers because then perhaps the talk of Disney or something happens again and then you get a bounce. Other than that, just leave it alone. It's over talked about. Lastly, the new issues, guys. Listen, we talk about risk. We talk about pivots. We talk about levels, okay? ACIA, when it broke the 100 and broke the deal price and trapped all the guys looking for a free lunch, because what happens in a secondary, stock's 109, they get the stock at 100, and they go, ooh, I'm getting it at 100. It was at 134. If it breaks that 100 and they don't sell it at 102 or 103 and make their $2-3, they have to be like, ooh, now it's against me. But it went from 134 down to 100. Let me just, hold my nose and it goes on the water, and then it starts trickling, and then like, oh my God, I'm down on this. This was supposed to be a favor from my broker. I do business all year long, and then it starts to trickle, and lose momentum. So that's what the first thing that happened. The next thing was, think in your head, what did Red Dog say? 85 was a pivot, and 82 something or other was a pivot. Breaks that, it came from 30, you can go a lot lower. So let's see what happened. Not only did, first of all, it break this 100 right here and get you out, okay? Then you had a little bit of a bounce, and then it's been below the 8-day, and then this was your pivot coming in today. If you were trying to get a lower level bounce from here, once it broke 85, that was one signal to sell some, and then once it broke 82.68, there was nothing to do, but sell and wait. You could try to level versus level, and now this gap is filled. So who knows? It still came all the way from down here and from down here. Okay, and again, when it's above the 8 and 21 days, shorts are trapped, there's momentum, things are tight. When it breaks below it, like it did right here, below 104, and then the deal price of 100, you get the frick out of the way or take small trades on a 3 or 5 minute time frame, because now look, it's 73. Shouldn't be your problem. Anyway, Twilio did the same thing. Twilio, okay, was great, above the 8 and 21 day shorts trap, breakout move, above the 8 and 21 day breakout move. Here was your first signal, maybe I should get out, momentum's losing. Ooh, here is the second signal when it broke the 8 and 21 day, deal's coming out, let me be careful. ACIA didn't hold price, let me be very careful. So this was here, broke, and then the deal was priced at 40. Wow, how could it be priced at 40? It was here. You know why? Because it also came public at 24, and a lot of insiders were all selling. So anyway, broke below 40, tried to bounce back up. I had some calls on, which you saw on the VTF, that I sold yesterday on the bounce, and then today when it was up 30 cents and I saw ACIA taking out 85, taking out 82, I'm like, let me just get rid of these $40 calls at $1.40. Why sit? Because if ACIA is going to do that, that's the leader of this group, and this was the tail of the dog. Let me get out of the way, because who knows? So that's why I sold the options, and now I'll just maybe nickel and diamond trade it. If it opens down, maybe it goes green or not. If it opens up, who cares? I won't trade it. If that's happening, Coop, why would I be in that? I guess now see if it holds this or not. NTNX couldn't go up on the day that, all those guys initiated it. Still a whole lot of nothing. Okay, here's your, your IPO low. Maybe it holds that, maybe it doesn't. So not a lot going on here, guys. This was fun when it lasted for 2 days. Even LN, it was fun while Twilio was in vogue and ACIA had momentum. This was a great trade. This was another good trade when it broke out, but then here was your Red Dog reversal. Here's when it lost the 8 and 21 day, and that was it. And now look where it is. Nothing. Again, above the 8 and 21 day, momentum. Below the 8 day, take care. Below the 21 day, okay, now it's back to tactical, and we'll have to wait and see another time. And then also, you draw this in here, look what happened. Broke that. So these are things that you have to learn throughout the course of your trading career. And then you have to learn them, and then you have to listen to your inner voice to follow them, when you're in the moment trading. What's worth it, what's not worth it. Okay, ask yourself that question. Is it worth staying in this or not? Is it worth trying this here? Yes, maybe, but do it versus this. Is it worth taking options into earnings when it's really hard to make money right now and the Russell's making new lows and things feel a little wishy-washy? No. So just listen to your inner voice. It's developed throughout the years. It's your instinct. Read the book Blink. Write that down, Blink. It's a great book. Okay, read it. It might help you. It means when you blink, you see something tells you something, which is the right thing to do usually, and that's your inner trading voice. In life, everywhere too. You have that inner voice that tells you the right and wrong thing to do, and it's whether you listen or not, and that's very important. Execution, thinking straight, knowing your X's and O's, and knowing whether it's worth it or not. Have a great night. I'm in Short Hills tomorrow, but I will be doing my note, and I'll be on Twitter, but I will not be doing a morning call. Have a good one.